Oh, alright, let's get the twin set up. And some lights. This looks like shit. Oh, alright, let's get the twin set up. And some lights. What's going on, Adam? You ready to see the pain that you've caused me? Trying to get some camera angles and lights set up here. I've got my requisite cherry Pepsi. That must be the key to picking black belt locks. Yeah, I went through the hassle of repinning this thing with the gens because man, it was a whole lot easier. I was like, fuck, I'm going back to the gens, and then CJ crushed all my dreams. Yeah, 2 seconds is not going to happen. I can promise you. Lost the lock. There it is. I've got so much clutter around my desk right now. There's like 8 locks just surrounding my mouse pad. Maybe I need a cherry Pepsi refill. Just mainline that shit. And I guess I could turn this monitor off to get some glare removed. Alright. I was gonna try to do some easy locks to ADTI 50 as a confidence booster, but that's just delaying the inevitable. So for anybody that's picked these things before, the Twin 6K or anything with a nasty keyway, what pick do you use? I've kind of been settled on a Peterson Hook 7 and 15 thousandths, but one of my buddies that does this swears he uses like a 22 thousandths pick, and I can't figure out how the hell he does it. Gotta get organized. I was angry picking earlier. I couldn't get the 6K open, so decided to open up some pick-me-up locks. Adam. Let me go check it in the mill, see how quick I can open a Twin 6K. Spin the Ruco in the lathe. Here, I'll show you the keyway on this one. It's the normal 6K that I always see in the US. I ended up making a custom tensioner because none of my 50 thousandths tensioners actually fit very well. So I took some 1/8 inch bar stock for knife making and hardened up a nice like 52 thousandths tensioner. Oh man, I apologize for that chair. I'll have to give it a try with the 22 thousandths. I think I've got some Southords I've got a postal hook that I think will do very well for some of those high set pins. I mean, Adam, you sent me the keys. You should know. This is the key we're working on. That sidebar is nasty. Oh, let me get in frame here. There we go. But the sidebar is not even what's holding me up right now. I'm just trying to get the drivers out of the milling. Alright. Oh, prepare your anus, boys. We're going in. So the way I do this, the way that I've been doing it is, man, that camera will not autofocus. Whatever, it's not important. Fairly heavy tension, just because I keep oversetting pin 6. I even set up pin 6 and I took the core out and put the key pins in it and then put the driver on top of it just so I'd know how much movement I had to do to get a set on that thing. And it's not very much, but maybe I'll have some luck today. Kind of the process that Tinker's been telling me is just keep heavy tension and torque the shit out of it with your pick. Yeah, it's barrels. And it's definitely the fattest pry bar ever. Like, I could probably snap this lock right now. It's a piece of 1/8 inch knife steel that I ground down to fit this keyway. Because my 50 thousandths were a little too wide. This lock has been destroying my soul for at least a week now. And I'm talking like every day, 5-6 hours a day. And this one's weird. I still haven't gotten a false set on this one from the drivers and key pins. Alright, I think we're getting to the point where I gotta start trying to get stuff out of milling. Because the sidebar on this one will bind enough for me to get like 2 clicks and a very slight false set out of the sidebar. So I've kind of been pushing through the lock, setting whatever I can. The high set pin, which I think is pin 1, go ahead and get it out of the milling, and then go to the sidebar, get a false set out of the sidebar, and then try to get the other ones out of the milling, but I haven't had any luck with either. I could definitely break something in this lock right now with this massive ass tensioner. Or just destroy the keyway. Like, you can tell how much tension I'm putting on this thing right now. I'm so scared of oversetting that I'm just tensioning the ever-loving shit out of this lock. Alright, so I'm going to try to get some of the easier ones out of the milling. 6 I know is usually pretty easy, and I think that click right there was 6 popping out of the milling. Let's check 5. And I backed off just a little bit of tension and it went back into the milling. and half the clicks you're hearing right now are actually my pick slipping off. I just heard 6 drop again. I'm going to try it and then go, let's hit 1. A nice little crunch out of 1. I think that one's out of the milling. It feels set. I'm just hoping that it's high enough. It's kind of hiding behind my tensioner, so I've got to get a weird angle on it. Alright, let's see if anything else dropped in the process. 3 is another one of my low pins, so I'm going to try it at the risk of oversetting 3. Alright, I got a click. Could still be in the milling though. Alright, we'll start messing with sidebar and see if I can get anything out of there. Worried that pick was a little too fat. I was hitting more than one finger pin at once. Let's try something a little thinner. Southward standard hook should do it. And y'all should see the setup right now. I have my camera sitting on a box of printer filament and then on top of an old 4-bay NAS just to get the right height. Not used to streaming stuff like this. I'm not feeling any bind in the sidebar yet. Alright, not there. I need to get one of those fancy microphones that Diggs has that attaches to the lock so you can hear all the clicks. And I've got another microphone. I could probably set it near me, but you'd hear all the background noise. I've got a server closet right behind me. And I hope y'all heard like 6 pins drop right then when I tried to push on that one. And I can't feel anything that feels bound. Let me try the finger pins again. There we go. Finger pin 4. Come on. Alright. Sidebar false set. Very mild sidebar false set. Let's see if that'll help me get anything out of the milling. Probably just made it worse. But this is the latest approach. TXMS is over there making a shark key tensioner. Poor bastard. think 6 is either about to overset. When I push up on 6, I get a little bit of counter rotation. Well, I got a click out of it, so we're going to hope that that was all it took to get it out of the milling. I'll switch to an 18 thousandths pick. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to bend with 15 thousandths. I'm not feeling anything binding, so I'm assuming one of these is caught in the milling, and I just can't figure out which one it is. I'm probably going to have to end up gorilla tensioning and just trying to bend a pick to get one out of the milling. Yep, just dropped one. It's just the angle here. Oh, nothing there. Sounded like a nice crunch. I think I got one out of the milling. And overset. Yep. I probably could have tried to recover that, but I'm getting a little irritated with it. I think I'm ping-ponging between counter milling and sidebar, because I can always get a little bit deeper and then go to the sidebar and work my way back and forth, but I end up dropping pins in between. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong in my approach. I just don't know what it is. So I'm going to keep poking until I figure it out. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. This lock with gins in it would bind separately. You would get a shear line false set, and then you could go attack the finger pins, but this one seems to alternate. I'm just not I still haven't found a way to figure out whether or not I'm stuck in counter milling. So it's kind of the unknown that's killing me. I blame Adam. I was perfectly happy in my life with gens. I needed a second key though. I would have probably submitted this lock for a black belt and then got really, really irritated when CJ told me it wasn't legal. I mean, it's padlocked, so I can't pick CCW. I could take the core out, but I don't really know if that's kosher or not. Alright, let's check some finger pins. Alright, I got a very slight false set from finger pin 3, one click. See if there's anything else binding. I mean, I could take the core out and clamp it in the vise and open it CCW, no problem, but I don't know if that's legal or not. It's padlock core, it's designed to be or clockwise. Well, hopefully that little bit of sidebar false set gave me some more binders. Yep, I'm getting binding pins. This feels like the combi I've got in the corner where it alternates between drivers and sidebar. Got a little bit of core rotation there on pin 1, but I know it's not high enough to be out of the milling. Let me see if I can try to get it out. I need a beefier pick. Alright, 1 is out of the milling. Let's go check fingerprints again. Got a little click out of 3 and now it's springy. One is springy. 2 is springy. 3 is springy. 4 is springy. might have a binder on 5. And of course, it's going to be 5, the hardest one to set. Alright, I think I got a click there. Didn't get a false set though. Alright, everything feels springy again. So let's go back to drivers or key pins. Six feels set. 6 feels like it's out of the milling too. Now it can't be because I'm getting a little spring on it and a little bit of feedback, so it's probably in the milling still. I'm going to give it a push and see if I can knock it out. It's almost like a grinding feeling as the pen starts to come back down. Try changing angles. Still got a little spring to it. Alright, I'm going to leave 6 alone for the minute. Doesn't seem to want to move right now. 5. See if we can get any movement out of it. That's my pick slipping off. No movement out of 5. Got a click out of 4. Alright, 1 is still set. Feels completely dead, no spring at the top, so I think I'm out of the milling on that one. Let's check 2. Oh, I got a click. That was a nice crunch. Give it another and see if I can get it all the way out. Nope. Alright. 3's wanting to counter rotate on me when I really give it some heavy picking force, so I'm thinking it's close to an overset. I don't see anything else right now. Let's go check finger pins again. One is loose. This pick's a little thick, so it's kind of hard to get under the finger pins, but I got a click out of 2. 2 should be in its correct gate now. 4 is still really, really springy. No resistance at all on that one. I know 5 needs to go up 2 more clicks because it's a pretty high one, but it's hard to tell if that one's actually binding or not. Let's try a beefier pick. That one was bending pretty bad trying to set 5. I think 1 is in a false gate. When I tension really heavy, it binds up. When I back off just a tad, it gets loose again. So now the fun part of trying to get it out of there without dropping something. Well, there was one something dropped. Couldn't tell if it was a finger pin or a driver though. I just bent this pick to 90 degrees and it still wouldn't release it. I'm at that point where I know if I back off any more tension, I'm going to drop everything, but this thing is stuck in a false gate, so I'm going to try just a microscopic amount to back off tension. Try changing angles here. Now it's not binding up with heavy tension. So I probably dropped something. Whatever was previous in the binding order. Number 4 is binding. 2 is binding. Four gave me a little click. Should be getting close on 4. Alright, I don't feel anything else. Even with ridiculous tension, 1's not binding anymore. So, back to step number 22. One feels like it's out of the milling. I'm not getting any of that little bit of spring, and I'm not feeling it. So I'm thinking it's good. 2 feels really bound. Make sure I'm on 2 and not that low set pin of 3. 1. Alright, let's go for 2. Alright, I got a nice crunch. Still bound. I must be in the milling. I need a beefier pick. Yeah, I can't get under it with that one. Come on. Oh, something dropped. Sound like a finger pin. May have to just accept it. 2 could be set. Where'd that key go? Nah, I think 2 is still in the milling. I'm gonna leave it alone and move on to something else. Three feels good. 4 is my really high set, so it could be that one. Something dropped, but I'll take it at this point. Okay, I got a crunch. So make sure I didn't overset something. Okay, I think I got 4 out of the milling. Yeah, no spring. It's either that or it's still deadlocked in the milling, but I'm going to leave it alone for now. 5 gives me a little bit of spring when I push up on it. That wasn't a click. It's my pick slipping off. Alright, I'm going to leave it alone. Let's go check them again. I'll go check finger pins. I've never had to use this amount of tension or picking force on any lock. It's definitely new to me. Alright, finger pins. Alright, finger pin 2 is binding. Got a click. One still wants to bind with heavy tension. I may end up just having to take the loss, get one out of the false gate, and deal with whatever drops in the process. I don't want to though. Feels like 5 might be binding too. 5's hard to tell. I'm over here sweating. I forgot to turn the fan on. I'm in a room full of servers, but I don't want to release tension to go turn the fan on. Alright, I got a click out of 3. Let's go back to drivers. Well, pretty sure that 2 is set. Check 1 again. I've been dropping stuff left and right. I couldn't tell if that was my pick slipping off or if I got a crunch out of the milling. Still getting a little bit of spring out of 1. May have to drag out a postal hook or something because it's right behind that tensioner. Alright. One has no more spring. I didn't get any rotation though. I got a feeling I'm still dealing with another stuck in the milling. And now 2 is dead binding. I don't get any movement at all out of it. No change. I heard a crunch, but I'm probably still stuck in one of the layers of milling or something. Pretty sure that I just dropped all the finger pins trying to set pin 3. Oh, Adam, that's a good point. I wonder if I can cherry Pepsi and still keep tensioner on this thing. I've run out of my cherry Pepsi. Oh no, we're getting low. I may have to text the wife to come bring me some cherry Pepsi. She'll appreciate that. Oh. One of these days I'm going to develop an automatic tensioner. You dial in whatever tension level you want and step back. Save my thumbs. I'm sure that Diggs is more entertaining. He at least gives up when he meets an obstacle that is obviously insurmountable. Alright, I gotta click on finger pin number 4. Problem is now I've lost count of how many clicks are on each because they dropped. No defeat. You come pick it for me, buddy. I'll win something tonight if I have to pull out a master lock. Yep, one. I'm gonna have to deal with one. Finger pin one is definitely in a false gate. This one has been notoriously difficult. Every time I've tried to get this one out of the false gate, I've dropped all the drivers. Dropped a finger pin. Got a click, but I don't think that was what I wanted. Might have. Let's go check all the other ones. Can't tell if 5 is springy or not, but I know it needs to be higher, so. Alright, feels like 2 is binding, and it was binding very stiff. Grab something a little beefier. Alright, I got my click out of 2. Go check them all again. They all feel springy. I'm going to go double check because it's kind of a hard thing to feel. 4, give me a click. And now 4 is springy. Two feels like it's in the true gate. Alright. Back to drivers. I swear that ASSA uses steel pins on these things just to kill feedback. They're a lot more slippery when they're rubbing against brass. Three feels bound, but 3 is my fairly low cut key or pin, and I really don't want to touch it. Alright, 4 gives me no spring at all. Could be in the milling. I don't think so though. 5. Let's see. 5 has an ever so slight amount of spring, so I'm going to attempt to do a milling check here and break my Peterson hook. Nope. just on that attempt, I heard 2 finger pins drop. I think that was the pick slipping off. I don't think I got it out of the milling. No. I'm going to give 6 a push because I'm not getting very much movement out of him. Nope. CJ kind of recommended changing angles when you're trying to get stuff out of milling, like pick angles, left, right, and lead to a lot of slipping off the pen, but I found it to be very helpful. Alright, let's see. Did I get anything out of there, or did I just slip off? No, it's still the same. Thumb and fingers are just exhausted right now. My thumb is screaming. I'm going to try a thicker pick. I think this one's 22 thousandths. Alright, nothing's happening. I'm going to go check my finger pins again. Maybe I'll get lucky. Hit a false set, something change, because I really don't want to back off the tension right now. 5 is springy. 4 gave me a click. 2 clicks and it's now springy. Wasn't binding very hard though. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're picking up against warding when you're messing with these finger pins. For 1, I've got to almost stare down into the keyway to make sure that I'm actually on 1. 2 has got a little spring, so I'm going to leave it alone. And 1 is dead, so let's try to get 1 out again. This should be an advertisement for Southord Max right now. I've got this thing bent to well over a 90-degree angle, trying to keep tension on it. I'm going to back off my rotation tension just a tad. I heard something drop, but I really don't care. I just need 1 to be able to click. I'm trying to get on the edge of the pen from either left or right and get a click out of it. Come on. Alright, let's try something a little stiffer. This lock hates me. Maybe I can do the LPL jiggle. Come on. I've almost got no tension on this thing right now, and none of the driver pins have dropped. So maybe I've just been dealing with sidebar the whole time. If my thumb gives up in agony, I'll take this thing out of the lock body and try it counterclockwise. I need something to work right now. Oh, I heard 2 pins drop. One is still being a pain in my ass. Viewer count's going down. Everyone's getting frustrated at watching me not open a lock. Come on, pin 1, let's go. Get with the program. I have no tension on this lock right now. And pin 1 will not move. Alright, pin 1 moved, but I'm pretty sure I dropped the driver. If we can get pin 1 to stay. So I touched pin 3, and it gave me a nice crunch and a very little rotation, so I'm betting it's in the milling. I really don't want to attack it though for fear of oversetting it until I check all the other ones. Two does not feel set. I don't remember 2 being down this low. Let's check 1. I think 1 stayed. I think we're still set there. Alright, 2. Alright, I got a nice crunch out of 2. Sounded like I dropped something in the process, so I'm hoping it's not pin 1 of the finger pins. Nope, pin 1's still there. Maybe making progress. I've been picking this lock for an hour now. It's going to be the longest YouTube video ever, and I'm going to make CJ watch every moment of it. Come on, 4. Alright, I think 3 is in the milling. Can't say for certain on any of the other ones right now, but let's go check finger pins. Alright, finger pin 3 is binding. And I got a false set. 2 was binding. One is springy. Let's go check them again. Problem right now is I don't think 5 and 4 are as high as they need to be. If I'm remembering my sidebar correctly. Whatever, we'll take that false set. Let's go check and see if anything else starts bounding now. Something clicked. I don't know what clicked though. I'm about to give up the finesse method and try the tinker method. Just beat it to death. One is definitely set. Getting no spring, no feedback. Could be in milling. We'll give it a push just to find out. Because if it's deadlocked in the milling under tension, you won't get any feedback. CJ's a good guy, but he crushed my dreams with making me put the barrels back in here. I think pin 3 is in the milling, but that pin scares me because I've overset it so many times. Just clamp down the vise, make sure everything's solid. Okay. No, nothing. Fuck. No change. I thought I got something. That crunch sounded pretty satisfying. Pretty sure I just dropped 2 finger pins. We'll deal with that though. I'm about to break this 25 thousandths pick. Yeah. We're just going to assume that that one is in the correct place. Because that was a lot of force. Alright, 6. No spring. Key pin just moves. I feel it hit something. I'm assuming the milling. It's got a little bit of drag to it, not normal. So I'm hoping that that one is above shear. Let's see. 5. 5 also feels set. Let's check 4. So I know that 4 is supposed to be a higher set than 5, and 4 feels lower than 5 right now, so I'm probably in the milling on that one. Did I get anything, or did it just slip off? Alright, I got something. 4 is now higher than 5. And feels set. No spring at all, no nothing. No, we're going to leave 3 alone. Tried to push up on 3 and got a little bit of counter rotation. Alright, pushed up on 2, fell into a false set. Slightly deeper false set. Let's go check some finger pins. Alright, 5 is binding. Slightly deeper false set after I set 5. So if I wasn't locked in the milling before, I am now. Let's just hope it's finger pins though. Five is questionable right now. I can't tell if I'm getting any spring. Definitely getting spring on 4. Definitely getting spring on 3. 2 is springy. 1 is springy. I mean, what's the worst that happens? I overset sidebar 5. Or finger pin 5. Come on. Something clicked. I didn't break my pick. That's plus. Really worried about that right then. Four is springy. 3 is springy. 2 is springy. Oh, nope, that was 1. I lost count. Oh, I can't tell. 5 is so high up that it's so hard to tell if it's springy or not. Four is springy, 3 is springy, 2, 1 are all springy. Let me check my finger pins before I just try to overset 5, or my driver pins. So 1 set. 2 feels set. 3 feel set. 4 feel set. And I say set, it's hard to tell with milling, but I'm not getting any of the spring. Because if it's not locked all the way in the milling, you'll get a little bit of spring at the top of the travel when you push up on it. I'm not gonna lie, I think 6 is caught in the milling. I am getting a like 0.1 millimeter of movement and it feels springy. 6 is like my notorious for oversetting every time though. So I'm gonna grab a thicker pick. Give it a shove and see what happens. I'm not changing tension right now. Get under there. All right. Six doesn't want to move. Just slipping off of the pin. Actually, I'm pretty sure I just got to click out of 3. Okay, back to finger pins. It's not good, man. This thing it's got an alternating binding order in it. It's killing me. I'm getting close though. I've been working on this thing for in about an hour and 10 minutes straight. My thumb is about to give up. I'm either stuck on one of the milling or one of my sidebar finger pins is in the wrong place. I'm close. So, if I tighten up on tension, 5 gets really stiff. If I back off a tad, it gives me a little bit of a click. Almost, I can feel it grinding. And I know that a true gate wouldn't grind like that, so 5 might be what's holding me up. Test it again. It goes dead. Back off tension a tad. I can feel it move. Alright, let's see if I can set 5. I think that was just my pick slipping off. I don't think I actually got anything out of it. Yeah. I may end up having to jam a short hook in there. Pin 5 is really high. I got a stream going. People are still blowing up my Discord. Alright. Let's try to attack 5. And if you read MMDev's website about picking this thing, it tells you that when you're getting really close, you'll fall into a deep false set, and you've only got one finger pin to go. And I'm hoping that is where I'm at right now. And trust me, I will have no shame about uploading the world's longest pick video to LPU. Pin 5 is in a weird... It's almost maxed out. It's one cut below being all the way up. And it is just so hard to get to. Hey man, I believe too. I have asked and talked to everyone that's ever picked this lock that was willing to answer me on YouTube or Discord. And it seems like you'll get a million different methods to how to do it. And one day I'll have all the knowledge. Okay, so pin 5 still feels down. I'm going to go check all my drivers and key pins again before I start to back off tension to try to set 5. I don't want to mistakenly drop a bunch of drivers. That was not a pin setting. Come on. And I'm surprised I haven't broken more picks tonight. And this is not the finesse method of opening a lock. I'm basically just trying to destroy the counter milling and hopefully pop the pin up in the process. Hey man, there's been plenty of people that have picked it. It's possible. And honestly, this is my first ASA lock. I've never picked a 500 or a 600 or a 700. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. And I think this is like my first production lock with milling. I think his website, Google ASA Hat Dev or something like that. Probably post in Discord, somebody will link it. Because if I have to drop my tensioner right now to Google the website, I'm punching you in the throat. Alright. Alright. Oh. I feel like I'm so close right now. I am like molasses tensioning. There's a little mark on the lock body, and I'm using the shadow off the tensioner to just... I don't think I've even moved 0.1 millimeter. Okay, I got a click. Five. Now has a little spring to it. 4 is springy. 3 is springy. 2 is springy. 1 is springy. So I did something right. What are we promising, man? I'm zoned out over here and I'm just talking shit. Alright. I'm going to crank up my tension again. See if I can get something to bind. 4 is definitely springy. Four is a... I'm not matching that to the sidebar right now on my finger pins. Because 4 should be all the way at the top. And it's not. Let's see if we can help it along the way. I'm all jacked up on cherry Pepsi, man. Trying to get that Diggs fuel. Five is springy. 4 is springy. 3 is springy. 2 is springy. And I miscounted. Oh no, 1's just really high. I'm sitting over here staring at the key, comparing my sidebar to where my fingers feel like they are. And 2 and 4 should be maxed out. 2 is nowhere near that. Need tension real heavy. Let's see if we can bend this nice steel tensioner. Nope, I've got something caught in milling, and I don't know which one it is. Oh. Trying not to break any of my good picks tonight. Alright, let's do a little press check on 1. Get under there. I'm slowly backing off tension just a tad. I'm never going to get out of that milling with ridiculously heavy tension. I'm using so much tension to push up on these pins that I can't tell if I get a pin to move or if my pick just slips off. Alright, 1 is pretty well up there, and I think it's set. 2. Give her a wiggle. My wife would love that. Alright. I wish I had a flashlight to actually see how much movement I'm getting out of pin 3 here. Because it could very well be caught in the milling. I'm not getting much movement out of it. From all the way bottom to when I start to feel resistance. This lock will either open or I will destroy the milling. And let's try the tap method. Back off tension a tad. Oh, I swear to God, if this thing overset right now. Okay. I definitely dropped something in the process, but I think I got 3. Sorry, family busted up in here looking for a stuffed animal. Alright, 3 feels set now, but I think I dropped 4 in the process. Let's go double check the other ones and make sure I'm not bonehead mistake here. 6 feels the right height. Five feels right. Alright, everything feels set. Alright. Finger pins again. And I know it's hard to feel if pins are set with counter milling, but just kind of guesstimating on where I know the pins are supposed to be. I've been probe pinning this thing for a week. Got a pretty good idea. It's not a realistic pick at all, but pick is a pick, right? Five is springy, 4 is springy, 3 is springy, 2 is springy. I gotta look at 1 because it's really high. I'm worried that I might be overset on 1, but yeah, it looks fine. Kind of just reefing on the 2 that I know are max cuts or max lift. See if I can get any movement out of them. Oh, okay. Getting to that point where nothing wants to give, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna start just beating up on finger pins or on key pins. Something's either gonna crunch or I'm gonna overset it and get to move on to a different lock because I'm over this thing right now. Alright, I'm going to back off tension. I've got to be caught in milling somewhere, so I'm going to start backing off tension just a tad, start wiggling these things around and see if I can knock it out of the milling. I just don't know which one to attack. Just drop some finger pins, but oh well, rip. Well, one was set, boys. And I just overset the shit out of it. See if I can recover. Got a little bit of rotation. At this point, I'm just going to ignore all the finger pins dropping and try to get this thing to shear. And that was a very nice crunch. That was the sound of the driver dropping. Which one was it though? Alright, let's check finger pins. This is my last 10 minutes of fucking with this thing. Gotta click out of 3. 1 is good. I don't know how 1 didn't drop during all of that. Alright, 4. Max. Fingerpin 3 might be overset. Come on. thank all 6 of you that are watching this in the background on mute. I've just about given up trying to finesse this lock and follow the binding order. I'm just going to start cranking on pins and hope that I get lucky. Got a little bit of rotation there on 4 when I went by and just checking. So it's one of 2 things. Either I dropped that one down out of the milling and now I'm back into it, or I somehow got lucky. Ooh, there was some counter rotation. Or some rotation. Alright, 1 set. Oh, I apologize, my kids are screaming. The last stretch. You have to actually get close for there to be a last stretch. Since I've never picked this thing, I don't even know how close I am. The lock feels different now than it did 10 minutes ago. And I wish I could explain how. So that last one I got a false set on. I don't know if it was sidebar false set, and I have somehow accidentally overset a sidebar pin. If I'm stuck in the milling, because my sidebar is really not binding that hard, I would expect it to be binding a little harder. Or there's a pin that I'm missing in the stack of finger pins that's bound. The only one that it could be is 5. None of them feel bound at all. They're all springy. So, go check these suckers again. Just got a nice crunch at 4. It was definitely in the milling. Five feels a little low. Before I start cranking on pins again, I'm going to go check my finger pins. 5 is springy. 4 is springy. 3 is bound. But 3 is a relatively low cut in the sidebar. Oh, either that or I'm miscounting, and that's actually 2. Let's do that again before I start questioning myself. Alright, 5. Well, I got 8 click out of 5. Inadvertently. Three is springy. Two feels like one, but it's not binding very hard. I think I'm still stuck in the milling. I like how the more pissed off I get at this thing, the farther my vice gets away from the camera. The shittier my camera view gets. Oh.
Because my big I lost my big husky and it might jump out and scare me.
Your big husky stuffed animal might scare you? We'll go find him, baby. Gotta mute Ghost. Alright, I'm back. Alright, I'm back. One of my kids lost a stuffed animal. She was losing her mind over it. So I just pushed up on pin 2. And I got a click and a very, very faint rotation. It's weird because I wasn't really pushing that hard. Alright, let's check the finger pins again. My only fear is that I'm going to get to the point where this thing is actually finally set at shear, but my sidebar pins are overset, and I end up dropping everything trying to recover from the sidebar. Nothing on the finger pins. Pin 1. No give. No crunch. Pin 2. That was my pick again. Alright, pin 3. 4. 5. Nothing on 5. Let's try 6 again. 6 gives me very little movement. It's a pretty low cut pen, but I could still be stuck in the milling. Well, I just dropped all the finger pens. But I'm okay with that because I didn't feel any of the drivers drop. Man, I wonder if I'm at shear already and it's the finger pen stopping me. Well, I did drop a pin 1. Alright, well, turns out I dropped some of the drivers too. Can't do it anymore. Yeah. I'm gonna go take a 5-minute break, get me some more cherry Pepsi, and pick something else for the night. You know how I know no one's listening? Because no one commented when I failed. Alright, we're gonna pause on the Twin 6K for the night. We got some new Chinese DDs. I bought a bunch of them on Amazon. Trying to find some halfway decent beginner DD recommendations. Open those up. We'll see how craptacular they are. Some of them look absolutely atrocious. Oh, let's see what we can get here. Study Guru, man. I haven't seen that guy in a while. Whole Venus. This thing looks absolutely craptacular. I mean, if it says high security, it's high security, right? Comes with 4 keys, though. Let me see if I can get a decent camera angle on these keys. So Abloy and Avis all have 6 available cuts for in the discs. This thing has 3. It looks like 0, 15 degrees, and then maybe 25 degrees. I can't tell. And she's jiggly. The mechanism is absolutely atrocious. It is so bad. I see ball bearings. So it's not shimmable. Better than Master Lock already. I wonder if the shackle's even hardened. It says hardened. We're going to have to file test that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then front would be 8. Is that a zero cut? I can't tell. Man, this thing is horrible. It sounds like sand. Chinese sand. Let's see if the shackle's hardened. Let me grab a file. Oh, not even close. So on a properly hardened shackle, this file probably shouldn't bite in. But let me see if I can catch this in the light just right. Come on, you fucking piece of shit. Yeah, I can't get the camera to focus. Too much chrome for it. Let me see if I can get y'all to hear this. You can hear this file just eating through it. And this is a craptacular Chinese file. Yeah, that shackle's not hardened. Not even close. Alright, next. That thing's a piece of shit. Yeah, no, it's definitely fake. Like, I've got some pretty good experience filing shit. I make knives. Like, this is not even close to hardened. Let me see if I can unscrew a couple light bulbs above me here and get some decent light. I think my lighting situation isn't very good. But man. Come on, camera. Focus, you fuck. Let's see if you can focus on this. Yeah, this camera hates me. Let's see if I can manually focus. I stole my wife's shitty Logitech webcam that she's been using for telework stuff. She's a teacher. Alright, let's try to manually focus. Oh, we might be hitting something here. Alright. Yeah, you can see where the file bit in right there. It is bad. A hardened shackle will not do that. Here, let me grab an Abloy for reference. Let's grab the Chonker Abloy Sentry. This is a boron carbide shackle, and fuck, it is a massive lock. You can hear it. It skates. Like, that file doesn't even touch it. I guess they're not exactly in the same category, but you expect a little more. Alright, next up. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't watching the comments. The hardened file will just, it's like rubbing a piece of metal on glass. You get no resistance whatsoever. And again, it depends on the quality of the files and how new your file is, but you can pretty well guesstimate how hard something is by whether or not a file will skate over it. Well, This one is the Sankei heavy duty lock. And this one doesn't say a whole lot. What security level is this thing? Can't read it through the Amazon crappy packaging. It looks like somebody sent this back and they taped the package back together. And of course, I don't have a knife in here. Oh, yes, I do. Barbecue knife. She's sharp. Man, whatever company that is gets an A+ for packaging. Again, another craptacular. I'm only seeing 3 available cuts on the key. This is probably some patent from the 50s that they're just blatantly ripping off. Same crappy wiggle on the shackle. These two were probably made in the same factory, I'm not gonna lie. Same crappy chrome coating. Oh, and man, this one. Let me see if I can get this close to the mic. This thing sounds like it's just full of sand. Well, it's not shimmable. Already better than Master Lock. I don't know what the hell that logo is. It looks like 3 shoes. Let me see if I can get this close. And of course I get it close and the autofocus fails. The logo is like 3 shoe prints. What the fuck is that? Alright, what's the shackle say? Shackle says HPP. Whatever the hell that means. Let's file check it. Oh yeah. Yet again, this thing has the exact same color. Like I instantly cut through the chrome. And of course the autofocus fails me again. This, I'm gonna have to buy a better camera. You can see the shiny part right here where I just destroyed this thing. I'm leading up to the Amazon Basics lock that I bought that I'm thinking is going to be a pretty high security winner. Let's see. Oh, we still got one more. This was Tinker's recommendation, and this one actually looks decent. It's called the Zarker J45S, and the S is for shackle. You can buy this without a shackle. It's got the same key as all the other shitty ones. It's not the same cuts, so I guess you couldn't just buy another key and open it. I'm sure there's only about 10 different key differs though. This shackle doesn't claim to be hardened, it just says stainless. I'm sure the body's not hardened. It feels like some kind of zinc aluminum mix. It's heavy though. It could very well be some kind of grade of stainless. Oh, that's cool. At least the shackle comes all the way out. See ball bearings. No shimming going on today. Bearings actually lock up like they're supposed to. Let's see how the tolerances on the shackle are. Pretty good actually. This might not be a bad buy. I think this one was like 13 bucks. And again, how many people actually pick locks? If you want something with some decent pick resistance. But I'm sure the weak link is probably this plug core. This thing has just got a, it kind of looks like a piston ring. There's a slot cut in the ring, and you jam it down in there, and that little ring expands and locks it into the steel body. The simple attack is usually just prying out that plug. Hey man, my life is metal dust, sir. Alright, let's do the final check. Oh yeah. It's a little harder than the last one. I had to push real hard to get it to bite. This one might actually be halfway decent. It's no Abloy. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely tougher. It doesn't just give away like the last one did. This one might not be too bad. Let's see if the body's... Oh yeah, the body is some kind of, probably a 400 grain stainless because it's really easy to machine. And it's got very mediocre corrosion resistance. It's not horrible. It's probably not much better than a Master Lock though. Alright, next. All these keys look the same. I'm going to end up losing all the keys to these fucking things. Autofocus, you fuck. Alright, where did my Amazon Basics lock go? Alright, so this one I'm leading up to. This is Amazon's $25. I don't even remember what the ad for it said, but if you look at it, it's obviously a disc detainer key. And what caught my eye was, let me see if I can get close here. And I don't know how many of you guys have actually seen an Abus Plus before, but that's Abus Plus key cuts. 6 different cuts. Same dimensions as an Abus Plus. The only difference is the key has a bit of a profile down the center and a matching profile disc in the lock. I'm really, really satisfied with this thing. I mean, it's a lot better than I expected. So let's see here. Like the mechanism is smooth. This feels like an Abloy. The shackle, 10mm. The body is obviously some kind of 400 grain stainless. It's got that grayish look to it. So I'll have to put a pick in this thing and see if it's got false gates. And if it does, it's probably going to end up being like a purple belt DD. I mean, if it's, I'm not seeing any indications of like a butterfly disc, which would mean a blatant Abus Plus knockoff. But the goal is to try to find something in the blue-purple belt range, so DDs aren't so locked off by price. The tools are still expensive, but you can make your own tools. The locks are where it really gets expensive. Let's do the file check. And again, this is not scientific. I've got a hardness tester out in the shop if we really want to get scientific. Oh, I don't think it's hardened. There's a nice little divot in the top of the shackle that wasn't there earlier. I've been banging this around against other locks. It's relatively hard. I would call this somewhere in the range of like HRC 45. It's not knife steel hard like you would expect out of an Abloy, but I'd call it relatively immune to sawing. And once you get through that top layer, which is, it gets a lot harder. It's not skating. I think the common attack for this is going to be the same as the others. That core plug. You can just pry these things out. It's not easy. But if you can get the right leverage and a tool that fits properly, you can just literally pop them out. What else we got? I think that's all I've got for show and tell, guys. That's all the locks that showed up today. I've got an Acid Desmo that D-Web sent me. I played with it a little bit last night, trying to work my way up to the 3KS. Because I don't know a damn thing about slider locks. Yeah, I started the stream with this Trioving D12 I got from Norway. I bought it from Bat. That, my friends, is a nasty keyway. And it's not like an SFIC where the milling for or the drill holes for the key pins go all the way through so you can reach up under the bottom. You cannot reach up under the bottom of this one. It's solid. And then the key, let me see if I can find the key here. So if you look at this key, you can tell that parts of the cut for the key go deeper than the actual warding in the lock. I think it's a purple belt lock. It's called the ASO or the Trioving D12. And it's really innovative. You get each pin has 2 different cuts, so you can have multiple styles, and the way that you get different heights is to rotate the pins. So pins are directional in this one; they don't free spin like every other lock you've ever seen. It's pretty cool. But again, it's just a purple belt, so I haven't had a whole lot of reason to try to pick it. I think what I'm going to have to do, because there's no way that a 15 thousandths pick is fitting up in there, I could just about get one of my SS devs in there, and I've gotten close. I got a feeling I'm going to have to make a music wire pick of some sort that's kind of shaped like the wording on the lock, just to try to evade this shape. If I can make something that's got like this half D shape and then use it to pry upward, I might be able to get somewhere with it. Everybody says it's easier than it looks because it doesn't have any security pins. You just got to get around the warding. We'll see. I'll get to it one day. I'm getting ready to travel for work, so my big push lately was to finish black belt. Yeah, one of those pins right there. I think number 3. You can't even get under it. You gotta like slide your pick sideways, so a dimple pick type attack might be valid. So when you work music wire, there's 2 options. You can cold form it, which means just bend it cold, or you can try to heat it up and bend it that way. The problem with heating it up is that you've got to reheat treat it. If you get it over, say, 500 degrees, 600 degrees Fahrenheit, you've got to do a heat treat cycle on it again. It's not difficult. You heat it up till non-magnetic and dunk it in some oil and then temper it back. But it's time. Oh, I got to check on my 3D printer. I've been printing some new pinning trays. Yeah, the only place that I've seen that lock is YouTube, obviously, and then one of the guys from Norway. His name's Bat, B-A-T-T. He sold me one. Took 2 months to ship because international shipping sucks right now. But he sent me a bunch of cool ass locks. He sent me that, an ASA 700, a big ass MTL padlock. I think it's the C13. So I printed an oversize lockpicking logger style pinning tray because I got tired of how tiny my current ones are. Let me see if I can find one for reference. There you go, size reference. Printed at 125%. Because the difficulty in this one is that when you've got the pins in the slots down here, you can't fit your tweezers in there to grab them if you're using regular pinning tweezers. So hopefully the oversize will let me actually get to the pins. I spend a lot of time like pushing a pin out so I can then grab it with my tweezers. Alright, gentlemen, I think show and tell is done. That's the mail call. I'm done with picking. This lock has just irritated the ever-loving shit out of me. And then the last show and tell of the night. The twin combi. This lock is... it will probably live in a naughty bucket for a very, very long time. It's like the nasty sibling to the twin 6K that I can't pick anyway. That keyway is horrible. I could probably chop down a tree with that key. It looks like a saw. And what's different about this and the 6K is that the combi finger pins require a rotation to get into the correct gate. I don't really think it affects picking, but there is a rotation that goes on there. That's the combi part of it. I've watched a couple videos on people picking them, and I haven't seen them doing anything to manipulate the finger pins to get them in a rotation gate, like a Medico. ASSA's it's a whole nother level, man. ASSA 700 is probably the nastiest lock in my collection of pure pin tumbler. 7 pins, I want to say torpedo key pins, and the same type of gins and counter milling as the twin 6K. Why that lock isn't a black belt, I don't know. Probably because it's just purely a pin tumbler lock. Basically, I kind of put it to the group like, hey, I got a new ASSA 700 and a twin 6K. Which should I pick first? And everyone told me to run like hell from the ASSA 700. I think it was Curious. It said his fingers were numb for 2 weeks after picking that lock. I ain't ready for all that. Oh, the Chonker MTL that Bat sent me. I don't know if size reference comes through right now, but the shackle on this thing is 13 millimeters, a little over a ½ inch, and it is a beefy padlock. Compared to the Abloy 350, they're pretty damn similar. They both probably weigh 2 pounds. I could beat someone to death with this lock. But I've never really picked dimples, so I've started collecting a bunch of high-end dimple locks. I'm pretty sure this one has a MTL serrated core. Another one of those that I need to get to eventually. Let's see if I can get the key out of it. And it's got a shutter that you stick the key in and the shutter knocks out of the way. Let's see if I can get that on camera. That's going to be a pain in the ass. Sounds like racking a shotgun. Yeah, MTL Juniors are fun, man. I played with one a little bit, and then ended up letting my brother borrow it, and haven't seen it since. Yeah, I think he bricked it. Somebody posted on Reddit the next day, like, help, I bricked an MTL Junior, and I think I discovered my brother's Reddit account. Hey, if you're 3D printing pick holders, don't judge my 3D printing. I printed this thing at like warp speed, but Draukin posted this in the 3D printing channel. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's pretty nice, man. I've got a bunch of picks in there because there's one on Thingiverse that's only 4 deep. He added another set of rows to it, and I think he made it wider this way too. But holds all your top of keyway tensioners. You got random spots for bottom of the keyways, and then he added the tray on the bottom. That's where I keep the plug followers I made. I like it a lot. Keeps my pick organized, or my picks organized a lot better than before. And that, my friends, is the end of the stream. I'm ready to kick my feet up and laugh at other people try to pick locks. I have a lathe, man. Like, I just went out and made some plug followers from some bar stock aluminum. They work pretty well. I should probably like set them up in the middle and actually cut slots in them to match some of the more popular locks. Have a good night, guys.